we pay a lot of tax. Anyway, what's up, people? How are y'all doing? It's me again. I ain't going nowhere. You stuck with me? I stuck with you. Let's see if you can live, work, and study in New Zealand with this amount of tax that we pay. What's up, people? Can you live, work, study in New Zealand? Tax edition. There are different types of minimum wages and tax group. Before I begin, these are things you should note. There is no minimum age to work in New Zealand, but there are limitations on when, what, and how you work if you are a certain age. And this is mainly for your safety. Migrant workers have the same minimum employment rights as New Zealand workers, which means that any employer that employs a migrant worker must pay them the minimum wage. If you are not paying the minimum wage, you can report to Employment Ministry by calling the 0800 number. There is no minimum wage for under 16, but all the minimum rights and employment applies. Once you clock 16, your employer must pay you the relevant minimum wage. So what are these minimum wages? There are three types of minimum wages. The first is the adult minimum wage. You have the starting out minimum wage, which generally applies to 16 to 19 years old, and rules applies. Then you have the training minimum wage, and this applies to employees above 20 years old whose employment agreement states that they have to do 60 credit industrial training program to become qualified. I'm focusing more on the adult minimum wage. If you're a student working in New Zealand, you should get paid at least the minimum wage. You can get paid more, but your employer should not pay you less than the minimum wage. If they do, they are breaking the law. Call that 0800 number. Now, these are the tax groups in New Zealand. Familiarize yourself with this information if you plan to work in New Zealand. The income tax is divided into subgroups based on your income. As you can see, it starts from zero. I hear that some countries that if you earn lower than a certain amount, you are not required to pay tax. Ha ha ha! Here, from 0 up to 14,000. You're gonna pay tax, baby. The current minimum wage in New Zealand is $22.90. So if you earn minimum wage in New Zealand, how much is your take-home pay? Let us calculate. In a year, you could have worked for 40 hours times 52 weeks to earn 47,816 New Zealand dollars. How much is your take-home salary? How much is your tax? So you earned $47,816. And remember, we have different tax groups based on how much you earn. Now, let's look at the tax groups. From 0 up to $14,000, you have to pay 10.5% tax. So we take that out. Next, from 14,000 up to 48,000. This is the tax for that. Your salary is 47,816, which is not more than 48,000. So we will stop there. We have what is called ACC earners levy. Every New Zealander that earns money pays that. It's a flat rate each year, which is taken off your income. For this year, it's at 1.5% of your income. When you do the subtraction, your take home is $39,210.8 per year. So you pay $8,005.2 per year as your income tax. Your income tax is split into your pay tax and ACC. These amounts will be different if you belong to KiwiSaver or have student loan. Oh, it's as simple as ABC. No, it would be if you only have one source of income. But the moment you have more than one source of income, things change and can get complicated pretty quickly. The good thing is that in New Zealand, IRD files our tax refund for us. If you have set up your IRD account and fill the necessary forms, once the tax year ends, which is usually in March, in March 31st, tax year ends in New Zealand, in IRD, you do the necessary calculation, and if you have a tax refund, you will get the tax refund in your bank account. Again, if you have set up your IRD account. I have a video on my channel that talks about getting an IRD account, so check that video out. So to recap, to calculate your income tax and your take-home salary, you need to know your tax code, You need to know your tax bracket. You need to know how much you earn, and then you can calculate. Also note that if you're an adult, you must be paid the minimum wage. If you're a migrant worker in New Zealand, you have the same employment rights as a New Zealand worker. So if your employer is taking advantage of you, do report. I know that they can feel like, they managed to give me work, I'll now go and report. Or more, you could be earning at least the minimum wage. So if they pay you anything less than that, do report, or you challenge your employer. And I'm sure any sensible employer will not want to lose their license or ability to do business in New Zealand. It was a lot of investment in the first place, so why do you want to toil with it? All right, I hope this video helps you. Please don't forget to subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, this is the time. Click that subscribe button, and please like this video by giving it a thumbs up, as it helps YouTube recommending to people who need it, and it also helps with the algorithm. Okay, thank you so much for staying to the end, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.